From the AI vision perspective, how loud do I need to be? Okay. Okay. So yeah, I think the mics need to come with AI, right? I don't need to modulate that way. All right, cool. This particular solution, again, specifically, it's a turnkey solution that we offered for smart parking and automated payments, right? Basically, what it does is it reads the number plate, the color, and the driver who's driving it. Again, a ton of laws like GDPR laws where you can't really scan a face and attach it to an identity. All those have to be taken care of. So compliance kicks in, right? But still, the brands want to know who that customer is. How do I tie back to his loyalty program or his customer experience? Those kind of things, right? And these are very important data collection points from a retailer perspective that are fed back to their loyalty system, right? So all those different systems or applications talk to each other, and that's what we're going to look into, right? Though there are many other use cases which we can address, but that's the one that we have delivered and running in production. Okay? So before we get into that, right, the actual use case, a few considerations for retailers, why it's important, right? The most important thing for any store or a retail facility they run, business continuity is the most important for them, right? Now, if you look at any establishment, it could be a small store running in somewhere countryside with very limited bandwidth connectivity. So they can't really rely on the public cloud, no matter how much the cloud guys push them, right? So business continuity is really important. They need to be able to continue their operations even when disconnected, right? Security takes a very different posture. Their attack surface changes because it's not like running a server in a data center anymore. You're running it in the physical world, like how we sit. There is probably a storeroom or a back room or a server room, right? So anybody can go and play malice with it. It's exposed in the open. Maybe you can do a bit of little physical security, but actually from a cyber standpoint, the security posture is very different how you manage that, right? Now, scalability and manageability, right? We are talking about hundreds of stores, hundreds of locations for a retail enterprise. So scalability, how do you repeat that? How do you make it consistent, right? And how do you still keep it in compliance with their corporate regulations or any kind of state laws that they might fall into? All those come into picture. And again, data privacy is really important because it's their customer data, again, ties back to compliance. All these are key considerations that go into when we think about deployment, right? So that's why I kind of put this slide. Like a lot of people, when I was previously at AWS, sometimes you kind of get pushy, right? It's like, why don't you go on the cloud, right? So that's the thing. So there's a big decision that enterprises have to make. Like when there's a trend going on in the market, everybody's going cloud first. There are still very certain use cases that are very, I would say, edge-centric or meant for edge, right? So even if you look at the recent publications that are coming up, right? Though businesses are very anxious about what they have to do about AI and the readiness, basically everybody is realizing, that the bubble is kind of going to settle down and the actual reality, the real applications that are going to make a difference to their businesses are going to come as more like small language models. For a retailer, it's more about customer experience. How do I do data analytics on keeping them engaged or making them more loyal or making them buy more or, how do I push my products to them? They don't need a lawyer or a full foundational model that does, everything, right? So basically, those applications, I believe, personally, again, I'm not predicting, but, this is what I believe. I think they're going to run hand in hand. The small models are going to be more, I would say, a small footprint of near the data source deployment where they are going to inference, and that's how AI is going to kind of, inference and extract the important data, and then at a later point culminate it or put it back into a centralized large language model, right? So I think that's probably the evolution that I think that is going to take place. But, that's just kind of giving you guys the background, how we approach this. The idea here was, this was a huge, $40 billion enterprise that we're dealing with. So we had to approach it with a very open mind. The idea was not just to kind of take an knapsack of our products and give it to them, but actually understand what their problem was and offer a turnkey solution, right? So we had to understand what their key priorities were as an organization, as a retail, give them those business outcomes. So had to go on a journey with them, right? Work backwards from where they are, what their problem is, understand, contextualize that. What does that mean in their industry, for their business? Put it in contextualization with their business initiatives on where they want to be in 5 years, right? And then kind of design a solution and offer it to them, right? Not just point-based solution. That's not what the key or the focus was for us, right? And then again, tie it back to their business outcomes, keep them measurable, which you're going to see probably in the next slides, right? So I'll give it to Murali to actually run you through the customer use case and the journey that we went through, right?
Yeah, thanks, Veeresh. Maybe just taking a step back to give details of this customer's background, right? So this is
louder.
Yeah. So this customer, he operates retail experience centers, basically shopping centers, where they have small shops, they have entertainment centers, movie halls, and all those things. They operate across 40 plus locations within Australia and New Zealand, right? So these customers, I mean, they have, if you see, there are 40 plus shopping center, precisely 42 plus 14,000 small retail stores within those particular shopping centers, right? Again, their total valuation across all of those is around 40 plus they also have visibility or kind of footprint across other parts of the world, right? Now, we had, I mean, from the people and from HPE, this is our DNA account, right? We all know DNA, but for people who are not from HPE, which is Digital Next Advisory. So these customers were having issues. So what we did is we flew their team to Singapore from Australia. This was a funded activity which was done with HPE and SUSE, and we had a 2 days workshop to understand what are their problems, what are their key issues, and all those things. So we understood their problems, and we came back with certain focus areas that can be that we can start with. So this was one of the key focus areas which we started, and this is actually a starting point. We are kind of have identified a couple of more use cases in this area plus some more, and we are going to work with them, right? So this area, they had a legacy parking system which was using very high speed camera systems, right? This will be, you need to have a precise location and setup. It will take the car's number print, and then it will kind of start talking to the back-end systems for metering and billing and all those things. That was their system, but this was slightly expensive because these are high-speed cameras. It was you need to have certain precision, and there was some issues with respect to that. This was one of the problems which we identified. The second one is because of the way they are placed, and it is recognizing the number plate of the camera of the car. Every car has certain numbers and other things. It was not having good accuracy, which was leading to leaks in the revenue, right? So even I was talking to a person from Australia. They said, yeah, this happened to me multiple times. So I was trying to come out, waiting in the exit counter. The bar was not opening, so the operator used to come and open, and I used to go free. So that is a real problem which I could even validate from some of the SUSECon attendees. So that was leading into huge revenue loss, and they were looking for alternative systems. That was one. And then, though the customers are happy that they are not paying, but then if nobody is there, they were waiting in the exit counter for a long time, and all the cars behind, they are getting clogged, and it was actually not giving a good experience to the user. These were some of the problems with which they came, and then we started building the solution based on this as a theme, right? Yeah. So initially what we did is we worked with a vendor, ISV partner called Visual Cortex in Australia. And what we did is we started doing a pilot. So we started doing a pilot with virtualization because for pilot we don't have to have any systems which is of the required scale. So we started HPE, we funded some infrastructure and we started doing the pilot, right? Now in the pilot, we initially worked on their problems along with the partners very closely, and then we were able to get the accuracy to more than 95% in the pilot phase. And then we took that and started implementing with a traditional desktop server and VM in a particular site, and the customer started seeing a great value in that particular area, right? Now, this is how we started, but at that time the solution was supposed to be going with the traditional VM stack, VMware, but then the Broadcom things came and they started giving a quote which customer said there is no point in doing it. So we went back to SUSE at that particular point, and SUSE was helpful and gave the right numbers for us to clink the deal. And moment we gave the solution with SUSE, VMware came and dropped their complete price, but still customer had made the decision, and that is how we kind of could take that solution. And we started not only with this particular idea, but it is also a idea of having a private, not private, but it's basically a edge cloud which can be used for this specific use case, and there are a lot of other use cases which we discussed with them. Other use case was spill detection in Australia. If somebody falls and if it is a responsibility of the shopping center, they'll have to pay huge fines, right? So that was another problem which we are currently working. And also, I'm not sure if you are aware, there was a shooting incident in one of these shopping centers in Australia. So we are working on a security, basically safety detection. So weapons detection program, that is some pilot which we are currently doing. And once these pilots are done, we will use the same infrastructure to do it, right? At this point of time, we have deployed this in 5 sites. It is running live, and we have a lot of productivity increment which I will talk about it. Now the next phase is to do for another 5 sites, and then eventually we are going to deploy it in all the 42 sites, right? So this is a huge thing, and this is just the beginning of one use case. We can add multiple use cases in this area, right? So when we started the conversation of how you can start doing it, we started with what is required for one single site, right? So start with, customer wanted certain solution, so we started with a one node HPE server solution and SUSE Rancher, but this didn't had the right kind of HA. So we went with a 3 node solution. Based on the capacity, some of the nodes have GPUs, some of the nodes don't have GPU, right? So this is the edge solution which we started with, which is the first step, right? The next one is, now you have one solution, you need to have a unified control plane, which is SUSE Rancher, which can control all these edge solutions at once. If you want to upgrade, you want to have a unified view, you want to have any patches and upgrades, you can also do this. So we introduced Rancher, and in this particular case, the vendor was working on a third-party Linux system. So though SUSE is open, and there were certain GPU related requirements, so we went with a third-party Linux, and eventually maybe in the next future releases we will move into the third level, right? And of course the logical next step, if they are having multiple Linux version, let us say the current version is having Open Linux and the next one is having SUSE, we'll also try to see if that is required. At this point of time, we have gone with the mixed solution for the customer. Okay, next slide. So this is how the solution looks. So for a site with about 100 CCTV cameras, 4 GPUs are sufficient. So the third node, we are just giving it to process the other things, but not doing the AI analytics. For example, integration with the billing system and all those things is done in the third node, and based on the requirement, we can actually scale. This is how we started with a 3 node solution. Then we have deployed the K3S solution, SUSE K3S solution, which is maybe the equivalent of RK2, which we have to go in the next release. We are having some issues with the supportability of Calico within the K3S, so we have to go to the next version there. This is where we installed a GPU operator and the Visual Cortex application. The other one is a space for, it's like a multi-tenanted system, right? So you have Visual Cortex as one of the application. If you want to bring in more application at later point of time, the above layer kind of gives this. So this is all running on HPE DL385 G10 with 256 GB RAM. So if you see the traditional, you might have seen some demos in the system. The edge system for them is a small Raspberry Pi, but for HPE it's a bulky server. It is almost maybe 100x more powerful than the systems which you see here. So HPE edge solutions are really big, right? So next one.
Yeah, so just to clarify, Visual Cortex is the ISV partner that brought in the vision AI vision application to do this solution, right? And then Murali spoke about other use cases that we are experimenting with them. So those are different, vision AI algorithms that are running in it within the same application. But we can expand. The idea is we can disaggregate the infrastructure, and we can run multiple applications on the same infrastructure with different ISVs as well, completely different use cases that might be.
So this is the bigger picture. So we have SUSE Rancher Prime, which is actually running on Google Cloud. It is managing all the edge clusters. This can be expanded from 4 to 40 or even hundreds if necessary. So this is a highly scalable system that we have designed for them. So you want to scale an individual edge from 3 nodes to multiple, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever you can do. Or let us say, as you are scaling from one node to one store to other store, you can easily do, right? We've also built automation. So when we include a next site, it is very, very automatically done. I mean, it is not like a zero click, but once HPE does racking and stacking, in about 2-3 days, the complete edge system can be deployed and provisioned. That is what we have done. Now here, if you see the scope, the complete hardware design, build of the platform, and the complete management of this solution is done by HPE. So this is a GreenLake solution, which is a pay-as-you-go turnkey solution. So HPE manages the complete portion. All the server, Rancher licenses, Rancher professional services is all done by HPE. And once we have the platform ready, we hand it over to Visual Cortex to deploy the application and manage their application portion. But rest of the things, even including the data operation, it's a complete HPE solution. Okay? We have that video. Yeah. I'll show you a small video of how this. This is not the exact customer implementation. We didn't have the permission to get it, but I'm showing the equivalent one which is there. So this is where you can see the list of gates which is there in the company. So you can see this is a live view, different gates. There are 6 gates. Which camera is coming now? This is an important thing. How we are able to achieve the efficiency from 80+% to 98+% is, apart from the name, where Visual Cortex is also collecting the make of the car, the color of the car, and these information, when you are getting it and comparing it, it will give, even if the number are a little bit here and there, by using the make, color and other information, it is able to easily get that, and that is how it is increasing the accuracy of the solution. So we have achieved close to 99% accuracy in this particular case, and customer, I mean, if I'm not wrong, they have already recovered all the investment which they have made for this particular solution, right? So that is what it is. Now you can also see for a given gate how much is the traffic, what is happening, all these things, and you can get all these graphs and information for that particular things, right? And see, even if there are numbers, so this is the number, and you can also see these guys also have a unique requirement, and some of the customers were misusing it. So based on the car's number plate, it is assigned to a specific user. and they will have gold, premium, gold, silver or platinum kind of membership. If you have a diamond membership, you have 2 hours of parking free, right? So a lot of customers used to come, and then about 1.5 at like 1 hour 50 minutes they will go out and they will come back. The clock used to reset, right? So this system now calculates the entire check-in and check-out for a car in a day, and if they are coming out multiple times, it will appropriately charge them. So this is another way they were able to fix this revenue leak, right? Now, this solution, we replaced the high-speed cameras with the low-cost CCTV cameras because the visual cortex system can recognize the videos from a low-cost camera. This is like traditional CCTV cameras, almost that we use in our homes. So that is the solution, right? Now, because of this low-cost CCTV, their total cost of deployment and operation and service, it kind of dramatically decreased. The high-speed cameras are in the range of 50K, if I'm not wrong, and the low cost comes in maybe around $300-400, right? So that is the savings they are able to do. Of course, the services and other things. The next one is increased efficiency to more than 98%. Because we are using the additional parameters, there is the increase in the efficiency. Now, because of that increased efficiency, the revenue leaking was cut and it improved the revenues significantly. So almost 12 to 16% increase in the revenue by blocking this, and also because of this additional advantage of tracking multiple exits and entries, there is additional revenue which was impacted. The third one is because it is using HPE servers with GPU, the processing is very high speed, right? So and also the accuracy is also high. Because of that, the number of false positives or people getting stopped at the gate decreased significantly, almost zero, right? Now, because of that, the customer is also not unhappy, though they would have been happy in a different way, but they are literally happy because they can come in and go out without any waiting time, right? So these are the benefits. So summarizing, so total we achieved a significant improvement in the efficiency. So though we have put 98 average on an average, but most of the cases, some of the shops, except for the night conditions and other things, we have achieved 99.5% efficiency in this particular area, right? The second one, overall, the complete management of this infrastructure is done as a turnkey solution from HPE. Customers don't manage, and because of this, they have, on the IT cost, they have reduced a lot of reduction in the cost. Operationally, also they are now with the SUSE Rancher running as a centralized system, monitoring all these 5 edge locations. Previously, it was one location for each of the edge. Now, with this centralized system, they are also able to have this efficiency, and of course, considerable reduction in the wait time for customers at the parking lots. Yeah.
Okay.
With this, I'll hand it back to Veeresh for taking through the next steps.
All right. Thank you, Murali. Guys, that was the little story. Hey, Bob, you're leaving when the interesting part is coming. Come on. I had 2 slides just for you. So what's the key takeaway, right? So one of the key takeaways for us is I've been working with Murali. He's been a wonderful partner. And one of the go-to-market pursuits that we are having is to kind of offer these kind of turnkey end-to-end business solutions to customers, right? We are no longer taking, at least me and him, no longer taking our point-based products. Again, with GreenLake, it completely supports a pay-as-you-go utility model, which I think is really cool. And with the cloud-native technology weaved into it, and plus the ISVs like what I showed, Visual Cortex, and there are a few others. One of the guys sitting here, Genesis, they are on the manufacturing side. So we are actually able to offer, very turnkey, industry-specific use case solutions, right? Which is really important. What this means to our salespeople is that it's easy for them to go and qualify, and actually potentially target with specific use case solutions directly to the business owners, right? Not really go and work on the bottom line, but these are more impactful on the top line, like you saw with the example that we showcased, that the losses that they prevented, that itself is paying more and actually adding to their profits for the solution that we implemented, right? So that's a very powerful message. Why wouldn't somebody do that when it's going to make their operations efficient, actually save them, or actually add up to the revenues in one or the other way, which is what our job is to do that as business people. But the idea is HPE brings in the hardware and also from their advisory and services group. SUSE platforms, I've used Edge because I run the Edge business for Asia Pac. So yeah, a little biased. SUSE Edge is the platform, but it could be just our cloud native or anything else, or AI. The ISV ecosystem, this is really important for us. These will be the actual business, business problem solvers, right, for different use cases. So, but the beauty of this is all modular. This disaggregates from each other and from within as well. Like what you saw within the SUSE platform, the customer started on a third-party Linux because they had a longer contract going on, right? That wasn't a showstopper for us because we are modular, right? And then if there is a regional partner or a GSI that is fronting them to drive their business initiatives, they can overlap on top as well. Those are one of the other initiatives that we are running in our region, which is working really well. So most of our go-to-market tracks are running in this fashion today. All our key strategic pursuits that we are onto are running in this fashion, right? So I think this is, something we believe we have invested a lot into this to come together and to offer this to our customers. And we have one example, one win, and probably if we can replicate and scale it up, that's what we plan to, take it to the other regions as well, right? So in a nutshell, key takeaway: certain applications are very relevant to be deployed on edge and not so cool to be deployed centrally. It's not going to really be good. And then SUSE is open and enterprise-ready platforms. Again, like I say, we are modular, open, interoperable. We can meet the customer where they are, right? We are not going to be strongly opinionated. And I think the pursuits that we've done with our partners and ecosystem, I think that's starting to pay off. So we come up with these, blueprints or validated designs for specific industry solutions, right? Meaning you can, we are trying to enable the idea is to enable our salespeople to be able to go and have a conversation with a manufacturing owner or a business leader there. Hey, I have these, very turnkey business solutions for these, 4 use cases in manufacturing, like AIoT. How do you efficiently manage your IoT infrastructure, devices? How do you connect them? How do you bring the data back? And how do you feed it into your, the whole AI dream that you want to live again? Because that's where supposed to be everybody's heading towards, right? That's the idea, and you can do the same to retail. Retail, we have a few use case solutions that we are going to launch as sales plays as well. If there are ISVs that you guys are in your purview, which are kind of relevant to the trend in the market today, that we think we should onboard and certify them or get them in the whole, go-to-market motions that we are running, hit us up. We are happy to work together with them. That's one of the very important streams that we are running. And then, like I said, I think my favorite is pay-as-you-go model. It's offered as a service, right? In a very utility or a consumption-based model. So there's no huge capex involved, as long as we kind of understand what their business outcomes that they're trying to drive, and if we are confident enough to meet them, then we can work on the pay-as-you-go model as well. So yeah, I think with that, I hope I didn't put you guys to sleep. No? Thank you. You're very kind,
Question.
all of you. Yes, please.